Welcome to She Lancer, Mom Entrepreneur. I'm your host, Angela Olfast, otherwise known as VoiceOver Angela. In this podcast, we talk about my adventures in freelancing, my voiceover business, and everything else in between. Let's get started. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are. Thank you for joining me again today for another community discussion on my channel here on VoiceOver Angela. If you're new here, welcome. We welcome you with warm, welcoming arms. My name is Angela. I'm a full-time voiceover artist and audiobook narrator, and my channel is dedicated to those of you just getting started out in this wonderful world of voiceover and audiobook narration. And through my channel, I share with you some of the tips and tricks and techniques that I use every day in my own voiceover business, and I answer your questions, or we just get together and chat every week on Tuesday at 12 p.m. Eastern on these live Q&A sessions. If you're not new here, then you know every week we have a new poll, which is sort of the jumping off point of our community discussions. And this week, the question is, what is the target that determines when you decide when you go full-time in VO? Now, I know there's a lot of people out there that I've met that this is what they've got. This is all they've got. So they are already full-time and trying their best to make it work. So I'm hoping throughout this conversation that there will be some little nuggets dropped, either through the questions or through your questions, or the answers that I give to the questions. Hopefully something in here will spark some ideas to help either continue to get your business off the ground, or maybe give you an idea of something that you can do to help you go full time if you're still employed, working for somebody else. Because there's a lot of things to consider. As you know, there's just a lot. There's a lot to learn, to build, to grow in the beginning of any business, really. But let's see what the poll results are so far. So far we have 17 votes. If you're watching and have not voted yet, please go ahead and do so. The more feedback we can get, the better. 18 votes. Well, 18 votes. It looks like 56% of you said to make X amount of money every month. And that's good. That tells me that you have a goal. And goals, as you know, are important to have. So that's good. And 33% of you said to just to replace your current salary. And that might be good enough for you, right? That was fine with me. Excuse me. I also put in there to win an award for performance. Some people are performance driven, right? That's just one of the goals. That's one of the things that they want to have before they go full time. And that's fine too. And then 10% of you said I'm full time. 14% of you said I'm full time at the start. And that makes sense. I've met a lot of people that this is what they've chosen to do, and they don't have anything else going on. So if you did answer, which is almost 60% of you said to make X amount of money each month, without telling me exactly how much that was, I mean, is there, in addition to making that target amount of money, is it more than enough? I would assume more than enough to cover household expenses, or just enough to cover household expenses. Because some people like myself are just okay with having, just the necessities covered and maybe a little bit extra to put away for retirement and things like that, because they are important also to consider. Or if you really want to have, maybe you want to also replace your partner, the person living with you, replace their income as well, I guess is what I'm getting at. And if there's any other targets or goals that you have that you want to hit before you go full time. For example, one of those other additional targets, in addition to having enough income to cover the household bills and to put away for retirement and insurance and all of those things, but also consider having a cushion, a financial cushion to cover you if you are working for someone else full time, right? Or if this is what you have, either way, you should start to build a cushion. Because as you know, when you're self employed, it's not going to be consistent income. More often than not, it's not a consistent income every month. It's going to fluctuate. You're going to have some months that are fabulous, and you're going to have some months that are not so fabulous. So if you have a month that's a lot of crickets, or maybe someone was sick and you had to take care of them. Maybe you were sick and just no income came in. You have a little bit of a financial cushion to fall back on to cover your expenses while you're down, right? That is something else that I stress that everyone consider having before you go full time, because it'll just ease the stress a little bit, right? I'd say 3 to 6 months worth, perhaps, I think is or more, of course, but bare minimum. All right. Let's get on over to the comments. And I see that Caesar was in there way early before I even got in there. So good morning, Caesar. I know it's not morning for you. Well, you were in there way early, like just over 2 hours ago. Caesar says, I feel like the safe response is when your VO income is enough to supplement or to supplant your regular job. But there are other variables to consider. So when you're ready is kind of the cop-out response here. That's very true. And as we know, if you've watched me and listened to me for any length of time, there are tons of different variables to consider, right? Everybody's got a different sort of plan or path because there are so many variables, right? So just like the poll suggested, what is the target for you, right? There is something in your head that you need to eclipse or to hit to indicate when it's time for you to go full time. And I want to know what that is, because it's going to be different for everybody, right? And these conversations, again, will help maybe some people watching to put some additional things into place, like I mentioned before about having the financial cushion. Because keep in mind, when you're self-employed, you have to save for retirement. You have to pay the health insurance. You have to pay taxes on a quarterly basis. There's a lot of other things that are now on you that your employer used to do for you, right? So everything is on you. So you have to take in consideration how much these things are going to cost you in addition to your monthly bills, and make sure that you're covered every month, right? So considering that, is there a target dollar amount that you need to hit consistently every month, or, surpass every month? You don't have to tell me the dollar amount, but I mean, if there's anything else above and beyond that, I suppose that is your target to hit before you go full time. I'd like to know what that is, because that might, spark an inspiration for somebody else, or something that I forgot, right? Something that I need to really address before I consider going full time. Caesar then says, determining readiness to go full time factors in a number of things: mental and emotional state, having a plan, yes, and a contingency plan, having the skill and equipment, maybe even having the capital. I would say all of those, Caesar. Well said. And then Caesar says, that said, hello, Angela. Hello, everyone. I celebrated my 44th this weekend and swam next to a sea turtle. Well, happy belated birthday, Caesar. Well, I didn't so much as swim, but flail around awkwardly, but it was fun for the turtle. That's awesome. I would love to swim with turtles. Actually, I did once in Hawaii, went snorkeling once. That was a lot of fun. Jealous, but happy birthday, Caesar. Glowin is here. Good morning, Glowin. Good afternoon for Glowin at VoiceOver Angela and chat. Hope you're all having a great day and your coffee is hot. It is not hot, unfortunately, but it is still coffee, and I'll take it. Glowin says, I'm obviously not ready to go full time in this, but my ASAP goal is to replace my current salary. Yep, that's pretty much what it was for me too. I think I never mentioned my trigger. The thing that determined the time for me to go full time is when the income from my business was exceeding the income I was making working for somebody else. I was losing voiceover business by working for somebody else. I was missing out on opportunities because I was dedicating almost half my day elsewhere, right? That was when I said, okay, it's time because my business is suffering because I'm somewhere else during the day. So that was when, but at that time, I had already looked into insurance. I had already made sure that I could still um, contribute to my retirement fund, that I had a cushion, had a financial cushion to be able to support myself if I couldn't, if I flopped on my face right away, that I was still prepared, right? I had my LLC in place. I had everything in place before I jumped. Kara's here. Hi, Kara. How you doing? Howdy, everyone. Brad is here. Good morning, Brad. Is the average regular guy sounding voice in demand as much as the booming movie trailer voice? That is a common misconception. Nobody wants the booming trailer guy voice most of the time. There are certain situations and scripts that I have seen for movie trailers, perhaps maybe some other announcery type of voices. I have seen those, but they're nowhere near as common as just the regular guy voice. And I'm also finding that um, very unique and sort of different voices that you wouldn't immediately consider to be a voiceover quality, right? Because a lot of us go, okay, well, you think you need to have clear, concise, you have to sound a particular way to be a voice actor, and that's just not true. Again, voice actors are the voice of the world, right? We represent the voices of the world, and there are tons of different voices out there. So lately, I've been hearing more and more very different sounding, distinct, unique voices. So in addition to, everyday Joe voices, like you said. So definitely go and give it a try if this is what you want to do, because not everything is like an announcery sort of a voice, more conversational, like you're talking to a friend, right? The guy next door is what they're looking for most of the time. Annie is here. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Annie. Rob the Maritimer, hello from Nova Scotia. Morning. Ryder Dude, how you doing? Good morning. Brad says, hi, all. Where are y'all from? I'm in Nova Scotia, Canada. Hey, Rob. I'm in Arizona in the desert. Yes, on purpose. Glowen says, howdy, Rob Maritimer. How'd you fare with Lee? Barb says, good morning, Angela. Good morning, Barb. How you doing? Fiber Jazz. Good morning. Hello, everyone. Phil says, hey, Angela. Hey, Phil. How you doing, Phil? Glowen says, same to you, Brad. I'm in NB in Moncton. Don't slay me for that. Dylan, good afternoon, all. Rob the Maritimer has a little smiley face. Fiber Jazz says, happy 44th, Caesar. Yes. Happy birthday, Caesar. Brad says, I'm in Halifax. Dylan says, before I consider going full time, I need to make as much as I do in my current 9 to 5. I wouldn't feel comfortable until I had at least that much coming in monthly. Very true. And also, going back to what I was saying earlier, you also now have to worry about taxes and insurance and saving for retirement. So on top of what your current salary is, you want to figure in an additional amount that you're going to have to make to put away to pay for the insurance, to pay for retirement, right? You want to be able to still contribute to that every month. And then also start socking a little bit of additional money away to pay taxes every quarter, right? So figure out whatever that dollar amount is, break it down by the week, break it down by the day, know in your mind how much like for me, I know what I have to make every day, 5 days a week in order to keep my business afloat and to make sure that I can still pay the insurance, still pay my taxes, still put away for retirement, things like that. And then maybe a little bit extra to take the kiddo out for a movie or so. You know what I mean? Figure out what that dollar amount is for you and let that be your target or above it. And then don't forget that cushion, that financial cushion. Caesar says, well, now that there's a poll, I'm either for exceeding current salary or making just enough to live without digging into cans, but only if you're confident in your forward progress. I'm sensing that you're having difficulty with feeling confident about yourself and your performance. Caesar, let me tell you that I think you have what it takes. You have a fantastic voice. Like I was saying earlier about unique voices, yours is very unique. And I think that with the performance level that you're already at, and with just focus and drive and consistency, I think you'll be just fine. You're the best, Caesar. Rob the Maritimer says, not bad. Lost power, but no damage. Oh, no. Storms. Rich Hellstrom is here. Hey, how you doing, Rich? This is what I want to do for the rest of my life. Amen, Rich. Facebook user, this is James Walker, says, with the emergence of AI, going full-time in the industry seems like a large risk. What is your opinion of this? And I get asked this all the time about AI. And again, there's no crystal ball. There's no way to know which way this is going to go. I would hope AI in general and every facet of AI usage has some sort of a regulation, some sort of copyright regulation, something. There has to be, because it's just too insane. There's a lot of dangers that come with a lot of usage. And I know that the intent of using AI is to help, but there's a lot of other ways to use it that hurt or can hurt people. So I think in regards to voiceover, I think my why is strong enough to keep me going through and just hope for the best. I would have to imagine that at some point there's going to be some regulations to protect people from being wiped out by AI. I mean, if you think about any kind of new technology that was invented to replace other things or could replace other things, and everybody said, oh my God, I'm going to lose my job. And it didn't turn out that way, because I don't know if it was the pandemic or I'm not sure what it was, but I find, and I'm seeing and hearing and feeling that a lot more people are yearning for that human connection and sort of shunning computer generated stuff. Because computers will never be human. They'll never know what it is to lose. Like loss of a loved one. They'll never understand what it is to be human, right? So that human connection is something that we're not, I don't think, going to see in AI. So to answer your question, to sum up succinctly, I'm trying to not, I guess that was a little bit of a tangent, but all I can say is just keep going. Just keep trucking. That's what I'm going to do, and just hope for the best. Because what else can we do? Whatever is going to happen is going to happen. But I know in my heart of hearts that AI is just an algorithm at its most fundamental. It's not going to be human. Rob the Maritimer says to Glowen and Brad, I'm just outside Halifax in St. Margaret's Bay. Sounds like you got a lot of people in your area, huh? Phil says, I'd say X amount would be more than enough, like in the 5 figures at least. Right on. For monthly? Sweet. I like that target. Kelsey V says, Angela and friends, I got hired at a VO training studio. Staying in the industry while building my career. Whoop, whoop. You know what, Kelsey V? I have something just for you. Check this out. I need to add like music or sound effect or something in there. I know, I'm dorky. I don't care. Sunny's here. Good morning, Sunny. Happy birthday, Caesar. Yes. Happy birthday, Caesar. Kelsey V says, still thinking about getting a W 2 weekender to help pay for 1099 taxes. Yeah. Yeah. Taxes. Yeah. But, it is what it is. It's part of being a business owner, unfortunately. Joya's here. Good morning, Joya. Can I say that I'm using, get out of here, Nat. Can I say that I'm using Audiobook VO as another tool and not just as a full-time job? Yes, you can. For me, it's an additional step in my current job and goals. Yes, and just like Joya, who's also an author, VO could be your I hate to say part-time gig, but it could be just one of the things that you do, right? Because like for me, I have a few other things that I do, right? I resell books, I edit podcasts. There's a few other things that I do. VO doesn't have to be the only thing that you do. Of course not. Caesar says, thanks, Sunny. I feel about 2% less mature or more mature. How does aging work again? More mature. Fiber Jazz says, oh, we have Nova Scotia contingent. Yes, we do. Rob and Brad, you live in a beautiful part of the world. Absolutely. A little jelly myself. Sunny says, I think I did it backwards, Angela. I'd like to resume working full time and treat VO as a hobby for now because it is fun for me and I don't want to place expectations on something that I enjoy. Okay. Get out of here, man. I need one of those little light zapper things. I don't even know how they get in here. I see your point, Sunny, and I think that if that is the way you want to go, then that is what it's going to be, right? But at least you know that you still enjoy it, right? And that is the important thing. Because if you don't enjoy what you do, then what's the point in doing it? Anything. Phil says to Kelsey V, congratulations. Absolutely. Rob says Pennsylvania is beautiful too. Mm-hmm. Kelsey V says the goal is to go full time when all expenses and then some are paid. I want to consistently be able to afford health insurance, put back savings, etc. Yeah, I think to me that is the smart way to go. Because you really need to sit down before you jump into full time and really consider how much you're going to need. Because for those of us that worked for an employer, they took care of a lot of that for us, right? Now it's all on us to do that. So you really have to remember and put those things into consideration too. Barb says, I want enough to cover expenses and the extra to cover unexpected expenses. Exactly. Mm-hmm. Because you never know, right? Have that the rainy day emergency fund, right? Hot Pink Bear 31 says, I would love to make more than my current salary, really. I want to make this my full-time job. Still getting over the sound of my own voice. I can feel that, and I know there's a lot of people in this chat that can feel that too. Because that was probably one of the most cringy things ever. Is one of the first times that I had to actively listen to my voice outside of my own head. Because it sounds different inside than it does outside, especially when you're narrating something or you're like the first time I started to try to narrate an audiobook, I was just like, oh my God, who would ever want to pay to hear that? That's just horrible. But they do. And you do get used to it. And you do get better as you continue to practice and progress. It's just the natural way of things. Right? So just trust me when I say you will get used to it. It won't feel as cringy as you continue to go on. Caesar says, also thanks for the birthday greeting at Fiber Jazz. I wonder if adding a notch to my age belt will affect the tone of my voice. I don't think so. Is it going to be warmer and creamier, your voice? One can only hope. Kelsey says, thanks, Phil. Fiber Jazz says, oh, in Glawen in New Brunswick. I think we need a road trip to go visit all of you and have some in-person group VO fun. You know what I have seen in a lot of Facebook groups? If you join a Facebook VO group that is local or close to local for you, then every once in a while they will have a get together and you can go and meet other VOs in your area in person and network that way, make some friends. But I think that's something that we should definitely do. MG Stevens says hello, Angela and everyone. Hello, MG. Annie says, at this point, my financial goal is so to finally get off the struggle bus. Yes, the struggle bus. So I think, Annie, for you, we need to figure out exactly what your struggle is or struggles and make a plan to either cut through them, go around them, go over them, overcome them in some way, shape, or form, whatever they are. Right? I feel you. I feel the struggle bus. Facebook user, this is Colette. Good morning, Colette. Happy belated birthday. Caesar, absolutely. Kelsey says Annie, LOL. Glowin says to Fiber Jazz and Rob and Brad, this sounds like a grand idea. Isaac says, for me, I have to move out of my apartment and buy a house before I can truly go full time. My lease prevents me from having an LLC. Oh boy. So it's tricky to put a dollar amount to it. Oh boy. Yeah, that is pretty tricky. Mm-hmm. Or if you, it's, I find that odd that your apartment lease won't allow you to have an LLC, but maybe consider another apartment. I know houses are expensive. I know they're expensive everywhere, but maybe just another apartment that won't prevent you from having an LLC. Facebook user, this is Colette. Hi, Kara. Gary Micheloni says, my VO goal is just to enjoy it, I'm also a writer and a digital marketer. There you go. There you go. Pamela says, hi from Washington. House looky-looing. Have a good one, everybody. Oh, nice. Looking at a new house. Fiber says, yay, Kelsey V. Kudos on the new position. Great opportunity to learn and earn. Absolutely. Writer Dude says, I have to crunch the numbers. But for me, the target after putting aside a cushion is to earn a living and put away a lot for retirement. Yeah. Yeah. And for anybody listening, obviously, the more you put away earlier, the sooner you can comfortably retire, right? Michael V says she rode through the desert on a horse with no name. Joanne Noel is here. Good morning. Good morning, Joanne. Hot Pink Bear to Pamela. I'm in Washington as well. Glowin says, I will slay you for that on Thursday. John says, hello. Rustic Hillbilly. Good morning from the road. Good morning. Glad to see you here. Thanks for checking in. Kelsey V says, Caesar, happy birthday. Thanks for making this chat room a little brighter every Tuesday. Yes, he does. He does. Brad says, assuming you have all the startup stuff needed, gear, demo, website marketing, etc., how much work could your average startup VO person expect to get? That is a very loaded question because, again, variables. There's a lot of different variables. It depends on if you're open to everything or just one specific type of voiceover, if you went union, if you're not union, how much time you have every day to dedicate to auditioning and to doing the work. Depends on your rates. I mean, there's so many different variables. But with that, I hate talking about like money specifically because it just makes me feel oogie. But I can tell you that I was able to go full time in little less than 2 years. But I also took it pretty slow, I think, right? In just a few hours a night, every night for that 2 years. I tried not to sacrifice as much time as possible because I wanted to spend time with my family, but I did. I had to spend more time in here than I did with them. Had the mom guilt, everything, but in just about 2 years, I was able to go full time with this business. So it's going to be different for everybody. And obviously, the more you put in, the more you potentially will get back out. So it's I'm sorry, this just really isn't a good answer to that question. But I can tell you that there are some people that I know that have started right around the same time I did about 5 years ago that are making six figures a year, and some that are two figures, or not two, five figures a year, you know. But yeah. Fiber Jazz says, thanks, Rob. Caesar says, thank you, Kelsey. I do what I can do to contribute to our Tuesday discussions, be it nuggets of wisdom, but mostly silly quips. And we love you for it, Caesar. Rob says, what are your thoughts on the best type of microphone to use for VO? You know, I get that question a lot, and I'm a firm believer that the microphone itself is not going to be as important as the space around you. Um, I would say, I mean, technically you can start with any microphone as long as you treat your space, but I would have to say the XLR mic, like a dynamic condenser mic, an XLR mic is probably a better way to go. There's a lot of great ones out there, and some are going to sound different with your voice. You know, everybody's voice is going to, again, variables, everybody's voice is going to be different. So I think the best way to test some out, what I did is I watched Booth Junkie here on YouTube, and he does a lot of comparison of different types of microphones. So watching those, once I zeroed in on a microphone that I think would work well, I would listen to those and then hear the differences in the microphone. And then if you can go to a music store in your area that has microphones that you can try, that's something that you can do. You can actually listen to microphones and see which one you like better. But most of the places that you can buy microphones from, Amazon, Sweetwater.com. Sweetwater is a great website for all things audio. But you can try it and return it if you don't like it, right? But again, more important than the microphone is treating your space properly, getting rid of any smooth, hard surfaces that will reflect your voice and cause echo, right? So treating your space is much more important than your microphone. Joanne says, good morning, Angela. Good morning, Joanne. I work part-time, so I don't earn benefits. VoiceOver is supplemental income. When VO income exceeds regular income, I can cross over. Nice. There you go. Glowen says to Rob, don't ask Caesar that. He has a room full of them and can't make up his mind. He does. He is a microphone collector. So that brings up a question, Caesar. Are you buying yourself a microphone for your birthday? And if so, which one? Or did you already? Fiber Jazz to Caesar. As I got older, my voice got deeper, but not warmer, creamier, more croaky. Same. My voice got deeper, and I'm a little croakier in my older age, because I don't want to admit that I'm older. Caesar says to Rob, many would say that the best microphone is the one you already have. But if you don't have one, your budget should be about 80% room treatment, 20% microphone. Perfectly stated, Caesar. Phil says, Angela, what effects do you think the Hollywood strike has on VO? Do you think it's a good idea to go full-time as a voice actor? Yes, the Hollywood strike on VO more or less affects union VO actors. And I think all of us that are non-union should really stick with or like hold firm on our pricing, right? To make sure that we have a decent rate card as far as, so we're not trying to undercut the industry by charging, super low rates. But I'm not sure. I'm hoping again that at the very minimum that there some sort of regulations are placed on AI. I think that is ultimately the protections that we need. And I think once those are in place, then everything should be sort of get back to normal, I would hope. But yes, I would say if this is what you want to do, pursue it. That's my opinion. I'm sticking with it. Caesar says, also Glowen is right. I have a thing for collecting mics. Yes, he does. Kelsey says, oh, is this from that little congratulations? Yeah, I'm a dork. I like it. Fiber Jazz says, love your gift to Kelsey. Yeah, I thought it was cute. Oh, we got a super chat. Hold on. Doop-a-doo. Sean Lester 007. How you doing, Sean? Thank you for the coffee. I appreciate that. Does going full-time require a different temperament than being a hobby job, VO? Do you take on jobs that were less interesting but paid well? I think it does require a different temperament being full-time because you are now a business owner. Well, you can be a business owner before going full-time, but you have to have the CEO mindset, right? You have to think about your voiceover business as a business and treat it as such and have all of the things in place that a business needs, right? A business checking account. You have to have your LLC. You have to again consider how much your business needs to make on a daily, weekly, monthly basis in order to stay afloat. You have to be able to do the taxes and the insurance and all of those things. So it is an entity apart from yourself that you need to keep making sure that you can feed, right? So yeah, it does take a sort of more of a different temperament. You also need to be a little bit more thick-skinned, right? Because there are going to be good days and months and bad days and months. And again, that's where the financial cushion can come into play if you needed it. But it does definitely take a different temperament. As far as the jobs that are less interesting, I do stuff that I wouldn't really consider interesting, but I think I'm a good fit for, right? I don't make my decision on jobs based on if they're interesting to me or not. Not always. Of course, I want to do the jobs that I find interesting, but if someone offered me something that that was within my rate scope and I thought I could be a good fit for, then I'm definitely going to do it, right? Of course, because you need to feed the machine, right? Oh, sorry, Caesar. I forgot where I was for a second. Let me unclick you and go back to where we left off up here. Boop-a-doop-a-doo. Facebook user. This is Colette, but you're a good dork coming from a fellow dork. Thank you, Colette. I appreciate you. Dorks unite. We'll get matching bracelets. Caesar says, also, congratulations, Kelsey V. I wish you all the success or all the top Pop-Tarts, whichever your preference. Both success and Pop-Tarts. Absolutely. Dwight says, happy birthday, Caesar. Hope it is a great day for you. Ryder Dude, happy birthday, Caesar. Enjoy being young while it lasts. Kelsey V says to Caesar, why did you type Pop-Tarts twice? Because he likes Pop-Tarts? Did we say Pop-Tarts? Caesar says, thank you, Dwight. All is good. All is good. I feel great about this month at Ryder Dude. I certainly shall, but don't ask me to speak in Gen Z slang. You might have to. You might have to. You might be open-minded. Caesar says to Kelsey V, well, one for you, one for me. People tell me I don't share food enough. I'm like Joey from Friends. That's why there's 2 Pop-Tarts in a little bag, right? Ideally for sharing, but if you don't like to share, then you get both. Glowen says, I suppose in regards to my answer on the poll, starting the build at home, Thailand in March, need to build a slush fund to get that initiated. Yes. God, I want to go to Thailand. Kelsey V says, I jumped full in from the word go, and I kind of wish I had been more calculated. I would be a lot less stressed at the moment, but the good news is I am always able to recalibrate, and I am, again, good for you, Kelsey. Yeah, you don't know what you don't know until you jump in and then you learn you have to know it, right? I mean, that's pretty typical. Don't, beat yourself up about it. It is what it is. But the good thing is that you're seeing the positive in it and you're, like you said, recalibrating or pivoting, which I hate that word, but you're making the adjustments necessary to keep moving forward. Right? And that is what you should focus on. And I think that's great. Tiffany's 80s Dream says, I'm joining so late. I hope you brought donuts. If you're late, you bring donuts. But hi, I'd love to have VO as an income stream, possibly make $1,000 from it. I'm focused on my novel writing right now, so this is something for the future. Awesome. Focus on that novel. Girl, get that novel done. Don't let that sit on the back burner. I need some new material. I need another book to read. Facebook user, this is Colette Annie Waybright. That's where I'm at. Dwight says to Glowen, I have a great aunt in New Brunswick. She took me to this pond where we hand feed a wild mom beaver and her little ones. They love carrots. That is so cool. Laura Tippett Burrows is here. Good morning, Laura. I am used to being an employee with sick vacation insurance, etc. Honest question, do self-employed people plan to compensate yourselves with those things? Or is it always working to stay afloat? That's a good question. I think what you're asking is compensate yourself with those things. I'm trying to figure out how exactly you're asking that. Well, you're of course always working to stay afloat. Ideally, you want to find some ways of bringing in passive income, ways that you're earning income without you having to do anything, on top of, per project payment type of work, right? So audiobook royalty share is a good example of that. That's one-time work with passive income after that, or, designing courses or something that you can do once and then passive income from, royalties from going forward. Ideally, you want to do that. But you want to get to a place where you're covering all of your expenses, because you're right. You now have to worry about paying the insurance and the vacation, having vacation time. So you are the master of pretty much everything in your business, your schedule, the money that comes in, the money that goes out. So really sitting down and writing everything down that you need to cover is going to really help you determine what that X number is that you need to hit every month, and then figure out how to get there. And again, it doesn't all have to be voiceover. If you do other things as well, then do those too, right? You can have several streams of income coming in to supplement and get you to that final number, right? And that might take a little bit of time to figure out and decide how you're going to get there, but it can be done. Dwight says, I am retired, but my wife has set my financial goal of earning $10 a week. Right now, I can't even meet that goal. Just keep going, Dwight. Just keep going. Miss Johnny Tate says, my HOA has a stipulation you can't run a business in your home, but we all do anyway. That's interesting. That's interesting. I've never heard that. Well, go for you. Hot Pink Bear says, my kids chose the username for me. That's cute. Name is actually Karen. Try to make it every Tuesday to learn something at joining the Platinum group, hopefully soon to learn more. That's awesome. We'd love to have you. You seem like you'd be a hoot. Caesar. I used to drive the struggle bus. It wasn't fun. Everyone's screaming and squirming in their seats. And there's this guy on a walkie-talkie who keeps calling me Pop Quiz Hotshot. Pop Quiz Hotshot. You know, that movie was on just the other day. The Wildcat Behind the Wheel. Laura Tippett Burrows says, another question I have is for those utilizing royalty compensation. Is it occasional, or is it really viable or reliable as income? Of course, everything that you do for royalties is going to, they'll build on each other, right? So everything that you do, you have the potential to earn royalties every month, right? So you want to do a lot of those. So then the royalties is, it all adds up, I guess is what I'm saying. So the more that you do, the more possibility or more opportunity you have every month to earn a royalty on something, right? It just depends on how much you're doing. So if you want, and you could even break it down, like if I do for audiobooks, for example, if I narrate a book of X amount of words, and that's going to pay X amount of dollars through Audible through each purchase, and then I get 20% of that in royalty share, and that's going to pay me this much, and I need to make this much. So then that tells me I need to narrate this many books of this size to make this much money, right? You can use math it, figure it out with some math. And that's how you do that with royalty shares. And then on top of that, you could do some per finished hour books or royalty share plus books, right? On top of that to have income coming in above and beyond the royalties. Tiff Stella Reed says, one more question. What is the number one thing you feel is the hardest thing for a beginner voice artist to overcome? Probably not being confident in yourself, because the cringe factor of your own voice, right? You're very skeptical about your ability to do this. And then you look at all the people that you've learned from, right? Everybody on YouTube or everybody that you watch on TikTok, people that you look up to, and you go, God, I'm never going to be that person. I'm never going to have the skill, the money, the booth, the microphone, whatever it is. And so that you limit yourself with that kind of thinking. So once you just go, okay, you know what? I am me. I am comfortable with me. I know that I'm a voice actor, therefore representing a voice of the world. So I'm going to go out there and do it and represent and be that voice that is out there in the world. So it is what it is. I'm going to learn all I can learn. I'm going to practice all I can practice. I'm going to learn everything that I need to learn about my DAW, about, different platforms, about finding an agent, whatever it is that you want to do. But don't get stuck in that procrastinating stage, right? Learn it all, do it all, practice, get involved, and get out there. And once you start to do that, then you'll start to overcome all of those voices in your head that are telling you otherwise, right? That are telling you that you don't have this microphone. So how dare you even think that you can? No, just get out there and do it. And then you will start to see that you can, and you should, and you will, and you are a voice actor, right? And that is everything. That confidence, I think, is everything. And a lot of people struggle with that, myself included. I think that would be, in my opinion, the number one thing. Caesar says to Tiff, I can't say this for everyone, but probably self-loathing and lack of confidence. See? Glowen to Tiff says, as a beginner myself, I can't specify a single hardest thing. The sound of my own voice in playback, criticizing my recordings, so many things. It's really fear and confidence, I think, are the two biggest obstacles, right? Fiber Jazz to Tiff. I think the self-direction aspect can be challenging when you don't yet have a lot of experience and know what your brand is or what will work for you. Mm-hmm. Caesar says, Angela watches Booth Junkie and zeroes in on a microphone she likes. I watch Booth Junkie and now have an impressively long shopping list. I can see that with you, Caesar. Angela, the predictable answer is of course, but it'll arrive end of month. It's a Lawton Audio LA320V2 tube condenser for the vintage tube saturation. Nice. JCC AOL says, Angela, happy Talk Like a Pirate Day. Arr! Is it Talk Like a Pirate Day? Stop it. Yar. We need to do that. Facebook user, this is Anthony Kinney. I heard on the news that Congress thinks the question of AI needs to be seriously considered, but they don't know how. It's going to be tough. That's another field with so many different variables, but it needs to be addressed. It's just out of control. Confucius says the ox is slow, but the earth is patient. Nice. But I'm glad that they're thinking the same way that we are. It's just, that is the hard part, is how. How do you regulate that? Ryder Dude says age, or what is considered old, is relative. Back in my early 40s, I had a neighbor in his 80s who used to tell me, 0? Ha! You're still just a kid. That's awesome. That's right. It's all in your mind. It's all a state of mind, right? It's just a number. Dylan Holt says, success and Pop-Tarts. New shirt available in the store soon? I'm going to write that down. Success and Pop-Tarts. Yeah, we're doing it. Caesar says, hello, Colette. Thank you for the birthday greetings. Uh, uh Afemi 101. I'm not making anything yet, so anything is my goal for now. There you go. Keep going. It will amount to something. Amanda Panda says, I brought donuts. Brought some donuts. I like the chocolate bars and the maple bars. We just had a Voodoo Donuts open here in Arizona. I'm so excited about that. Phil says, Angela, have you read my book? What are your thoughts? I have not. To tell you the truth, I have been just too darn busy to really do anything. But no, I have not read your book yet. But it is in my TBR. Caesar says, I brought nuts too. Of course you did, Caesar. Facebook user, this is this Anthony Kinney? Yes, this is Anthony Kinney. Hey, Angela, I have a question about establishing an LLC for yourself and when to do so. Is that something we should do early on or something to put off until we're more established? I didn't do it until I was about a year in because I wanted to make sure that I enjoyed it doing this, that I could do it and that I could learn it and that I was, starting to make enough money to see that it was something that could sustain me. So that point in when is going to be up to you. It's not necessary to do it early on, but you could if you wanted to. But I didn't until I was about a year in. Bear338 says, late but here listening while working and commenting when nobody is looking. Well, I hope you brought the donuts. Amanda Panda says, you want to trade nuts? Donuts? Caesar says, looks like yours are bigger than mine. You guys. Caesar says, I like to think that VO is more than just narration or acting. If you're competent in writing scripts, mastering audio, mixing demos, or even marketing and promotion, these are valuable services too. Absolutely. So add those to the things that you offer in addition to voiceover. Oh, yeah. Fiber Jazz says, I find over time royalties on a given book begin to diminish. So really need to keep new royalty projects in the pipeline to maintain or grow royalty income. Anyone else have a different experience? If you are in a royalty share agreement, making money on that book is important to both you and the author. So you can also promote that book. Promote that book on your social media. Promote it anywhere you want to. You have the codes to get people to listen and to rate and review, right? But also promote it and go, hey, look at this new book that I've just finished. Promote that book so you can maybe give it a little bit of a lift in royalties. But I think that's pretty normal. Once a book is released, it's kind of at the top of the page, and then more people will, if it's new, people will buy it and listen. But if you promote it again, every month or so, why not? Do it. Joya says, I recorded Foley this morning. I'm working on a sound effect pack to sell as a supplement. There you go. You can use your mic and DAW for more than just VO recordings. Does this count as VO or just sound effects? Either way, money. Right. And again, you don't have to limit yourself to just voiceover. You have this equipment. Find another way to use it. Make some money off it. Right? Why not? Brad says, Angela, 2 questions. What did you do for work before VO? And did you take VO coaching when you started? I worked in the automotive industry for 20 years, and I was the inventory manager for a BMW dealership. So I managed the new car inventory and the reconditioning of the used car inventory. That's what I did. I was in automotive for 20 years. And then I found VO, found it interesting, audiobooks, namely, and just wanted to do that. And about a year in, I think it was right around the time where I created my LLC, I did reach out for coaching. I asked my friend and mentor, Anthony Pica, from A VO's Journey, and he coached me for a year. We met every month for a year. And that was one of the best investments I've ever made. So yes. Facebook user, this is Colette. Tiff, for me, it's learning the technology. Yes, that can definitely be a learning curve. And just give yourself time. Have patience. You will learn it. Things will become more and more familiar the more you do it, right? Kelsey V says, Tiff, paying for training. I feel like training now that I'm in VO is hands down the most important aspect of VO. And I'm a broke 20 something. It can be really discouraging. You're right. It is a very important aspect. And I would say if you can't afford a coach, then the second best thing, in my opinion, is at least joining Facebook groups, masterminds, you know, training classes that are not just one-on-one like it would be with a coach, but maybe in like group sessions. I think that you could still learn quite a bit by doing it that way. Like my platinum group, that's pretty much what that is. So something like that, I think, is the second best thing. At least you're still learning and improving and growing, right? And getting instant feedback from others and listening to your peers, and all of that is very valuable, I think. Sean says, I watch Booth Junkie and have a lot of microphones now. It's all right. I have to rein myself back all the time watching Booth Junkie. Kelsey V says, VO ain't for the faint of heart. And if you have to be compassionate with yourself or your business, tenacity will suffer. Yes, you do have to be patient. Give yourself some grace. Right Track says, morning, Angela and all. I overheard you say you dislike the word pivot. Yeah, I don't know what it is about pivot. I just don't like it. Could it be beneficial in certain situations? I'm not saying it's not beneficial. I just, for some reason, the word just pivot. I don't like it. It's like some people have an issue with moist. The word, it's just pivot. I understand what it means, and it is useful to pivot if you need to change directions, right? Adapt and overcome. But just the word itself, I don't know what it is. It's just, I don't know. Caesar says pivoting is great for moving a couch up a flight of stairs. Yes, it is. Right Track says definitely a must in that situation. For sure. Rigel 15 says, hi, Angela. I have a closet like 65 centimeters by 65 centimeters. I want to attach clothes in the walls inside the closet. Could be this a good idea? Yes. And also I live in front of a street, cars and motorbikes mainly. Yes, when you're treating the walls in your space, you're more or less making it echo proof. Getting it soundproof is going to be very, very difficult unless you buy like a booth, like a Whisper Room or a Studio Bricks booth. And even those are usually not 100% soundproof. So having it soundproof is not something you need to focus on. You need to have the recording on the inside of it sound good, right? So you're just treating the walls on the inside. If there's cars or motorbikes going by, you might just have to pause or retake that sentence if they're in there, right? Or record late at night when they're less frequent, something like that. It's going to be a challenge and difficult, but it is something that you can probably overcome. But soundproofing is incredibly difficult. Treating your space is much easier. If that makes sense. Caesar says to Sean, come, let's commiserate together or celebrate my newest purchase. We can do either of the two. Afemi, why do you do this to me? Thanks. Joy says, hello, Angela and company. I trained and tried working part-time before I decided to go for full-time. Nice. Love you, Joy. Oh, and Chantel sent a super sticker. Thank you so much. I wish I could see what it is, but I don't have that ability on StreamYard. But thank you, Chantel. I appreciate you. It was super sweet of you. Professor Tracy. Oh, snap. Last week, I was in Santan for 2 weeks. Just had to go to Voodoo Donuts. What a crazy place. Took 40 minutes in line. I've heard that. I have not been there yet, but I'm sure the line is just insane. But man, I don't have to go to Oregon anymore for Voodoo. It's right here in my home state. Still a few hours away and probably worth the wait, but gotta do it. Kelsey V says, yep, that's exactly what I do, Angela. Just go to a lot of free Q&A events, meetups, and networking. Good. Showing up consistently. is how I get the new studio job. Nice. Good for you, Kelsey. Isaac says, late night recording for the win. Sips third cup of coffee. Yeah. Been there. I know a lot of us have. Pivoting is riveting. Pivoting. I don't know what it is about the word. I know that it's useful. I know it's got a use, but just the word pivot. I don't know what it is. I just don't like it. But anyway, all right, guys, I've got a meeting to get to, so I have got to go. But I thank you all again for spending some time with me this Tuesday. I will be back next week, same bat time, same bat channel. Tuesday, 12 p.m. EST. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I appreciate you, Team Replay. See y'all next week. Thank you so much for listening today. I really appreciate it. If you have an extra moment, please feel free to leave a review. We'll see you next time.